First of all, thanks very much for coming. Really appreciate your time. Today, we're going to really be discussing how to set up a CPA, the steps involved, and the announcement that actually goes along with it. So relatively short webinar. I'll try and keep it to about 15 minutes and shorter if we can. Basically, there's some disclosures there you should read later. I guess the most important thing is the Acuity website. It's got all the information here. It's got info sheets, it's got white papers, it's got case studies, it's got all sorts of bits and bobs there that can help. This is actually the info sheet. You'll see it actually talks about ATMs or at the markets, but they're effectively the same thing. We just call them different things for different size companies. This here is, again, available at the website, so make sure you get along and check that out. We're actually going to be focusing on this part here, which is the steps, and in particular, steps 1, 2, and 3. The steps 4 through 7 actually deal with how to request the CPA to be utilised, to be turned on, but the first 3 steps are quite straightforward in terms of putting it all together. So as I said, download this at the website. We'll focus on this part here today, and as I said, steps 1 through 3 being the key ones. So step 1, I guess, basically very simple. We want to agree the terms and sign the docs. So how does that actually work? So first of all, we recommend reviewing the white paper as well as the other collateral on the website, and then request a term sheet. We're happy to put together a term sheet. They're very pro forma, so it's easy for us to do. They're all set out in the same kind of way. And the main thing you're really doing with the term sheet is saying, hey, this is how long we'd like the term of the control placement agreement to run. So it's typically 2 to 2.5 years, sometimes 3, and then have a notional limit in there. That limit is really just a notional number that we agree. So it needs to be a meaningful number, but not too large that the market is concerned about it. So if you've got a market cap of 20 mil, you might consider a $3 million CPA limit. If it's 30, you might consider 4 or 5, and obviously the higher you go. The smallest one we'll do is $1 million, but that sort of gives you a bit of a feel for what we're thinking. And then obviously we need to agree the terms. Now the terms are, again, very straightforward. That's quite simple to do, but it's really just about those dates and the notional limit that you want. Reviewing the CPA legals. So once we've agreed the terms, we'll send you a copy of the legal documents. They are literally an off-the-shelf. Obviously, Clayton Utz are our lawyers, so they've obviously reviewed the documents, but many other law firms have seen the documents. We literally change the name and the dates and the notional. That's really the only change we make, subject to if a particular law firm or particular company has any specific requirements. It is really quite a simple document to review and sign off on. Then it obviously needs to have the board approved and the CPA agreement itself, and then execute the legals. And so once we execute the legals, it's obviously binding, and that then brings us to the next part, which is announcing the CPA. So this is actually step 2. So that's the first part, is to go through that part with your lawyers and whatnot. Typically takes roughly about 2 weeks to do it, depending on the law firm and whatnot. As I said, we can literally get documents to you straight away. And then, it's announcing the CPA terms to market. This can be done as a standalone announcement. We've got plenty of examples of those. And we've seen a number of companies included in their quarterly. And obviously with the July quarterly being due soon, we think that's a great way to go. So first of all, over 25 ASX companies have announced this, so there's plenty of examples, plenty of templates to use. The ASX has seen it. Obviously, lawyers have seen it. A lot of other stakeholders have seen these. And I think, importantly, use an existing template. Use something that the ASX has seen before. We recommend the Lithium example. We think it's nice and concise and easy. And if you look at the Lithium example, they included this in their July quarterly last year, so 12 months ago. And this is obviously the front page of the quarterly. And then if you go actually to page 8 of the July quarterly, this is the announcement they included as part of their quarterly update. So I won't read through the whole thing, but the most important part is you can see that really all we're going to change with an announcement for another company is that date. So during the month of July, when you actually entered into the arrangement. And then the only other change is the company who we're doing it for and that amount of standby equity capital that we're talking about. So if you've entered a $2 million deal, that obviously is going to be for $2 million, it's 12 or whatnot. Lithium actually did it for $5 million originally. They then increased it to 7.5 million, and now it's been increased again to 12.5 million. So that number we're very happy to move around on. As I said, it's really just a number which we can tell the market that the market isn't going to be too concerned about, but also thinks is meaningful enough as well. I think just worth highlighting in these announcement actually is, importantly, it does say that the company does control all aspects of the placement process, the company having sole discretion as to whether or not to utilize the CPA. And so I think that's really important. And also importantly is there's no requirements on the company to utilize the CPA, and the company may terminate it at any time without cost or penalty. There's obviously no other restrictions on any other form of capital raising. And I think this is I guess the nuts and bolts of the product itself. If Lithium, the company, does decide to utilize the CPA, Lithium is able to set a floor price at its sole discretion, and the final issue price will be calculated as the greater of the floor price set by Lithium and a 10% discount to a volume-weighted average price. I know it says value-weighted, it should be volume. Average price over a period of Lithium's choosing. So that really is the nuts and bolts of the whole structure there. Succinct, one paragraph. Companies have done this many times. ASX has seen it. Very, very easy and straightforward. So that's stage two, step two, the announcement. And then step three is the collateral shares. There are other ways for us to hedge our position and guarantee, but we'll focus today on collateral shares. If the collateral shares or your 7.1 aren't available, we can discuss other methods of doing this, but this is the simplest and cleanest way we found. For example, Lithium got one phone call about their collateral shares when they announced this. So this announcement was actually made on the same day. So this is stage three. And this announcement was made on the same day as the actual CPA announcement was made. And you can see here what we're issuing, or the company rather is issuing, something which we refer to as collateral shares. Now, they're normal shares, fully paid ordinaries that the company is issuing. It's issuing those out of 7.1 at zero cost to Acuity. And we want to take up to 4.99% of the shares on issue. And why 4.99? Because if we go over 5, we become technically a substantial holder, and we need to disclose to the market what we're doing if we're moving our holdings or whatnot, which obviously the company doesn't want us to be having to do to telegraph it to the market. So that's really what happens there. And then this is an example of the 3B. I'm not sure if you can read all of that, but really the key part is that first paragraph is literally just lifted from the quarterly, so it's probably not actually necessary to include that. The more important paragraph is the second paragraph, which is talking about, as collateral for the CPA, Lithium has agreed to place 10 million shares from its 7.1 capacity at nil consideration to Acuity. They're the collateral shares, but may at any time cancel the CPA and buy back the collateral shares for no cost. And that's an important thing to remember as well. You can see also there's a cleansing statement there, but that is literally the process. It's to set it up with if we go back here and just go back to the stage one, it's literally that simple. We've got stage one, we've agreed the terms with Acuity, requested a term sheet, reviewed the standard legals, signed off, we've executed that. We've then announced that to the market with a one paragraph. And then, of course, we've got the collateral shares actually coming out there as well. And so that's really, really simple to do. And again, templates all there. ASX has seen it all before. So really, really easy. So I guess the next question is, well, how does the market actually react to Acuity and the CPA? This is actually part of our white paper. We update it pretty regularly to include all the deals we've done that have been announced. You can see there's a number of them there. Importantly, there's only one that's down on the day of an announcement, and that's Orinoco Gold. So you can see here only a few are down. We think if we took a sample of ASX listed companies, just this many, there's roughly 28 there, we would find just by statistical, you'd see more that were down. But happily, with the announcement of the CPA, the market either is indifferent, doesn't pay much attention to Acuity, or is flat. So really good news in terms of how the CPA is announced. So look, more information. As I said, the most important use of information is the website. There's other webinars there, including the more on the mechanics of the structure, how it all works together, how it, all sorts of the legals and whatnot. We've got the Clayton Utz legal opinion. So if you do want to dive deep into how the legals and why all this works, more than happy to provide that and go through it in greater detail with either the board or your lawyers or whatnot, or have a look at the white paper and case studies as well. So give us a call. More than happy to have a chat. We've got Simon Bilsma over in Perth as well, who's more than happy to come around and meet at people's offices and whatnot. And obviously I'm based here in Sydney now, more than happy as well to go through any of the stuff there. So look, that's really it. My details are here. You can get those